Hello, in this lesson, we're going to graph and apply linear inequalities. Some vocabulary to come across is linear inequality, boundary, and constraint. We'll start here, and this is a review from Algebra 1, but you might have forgotten a few things from before, so we're going to go over this. First thing, within standard form, I think the easiest way to graph is to find the x and y intercepts within standard form. So I'm going to find the x-intercept first. Remember, what happened when you find the x-intercept, that is when y is 0. So my inequality, I'm going to actually graph it as an equation for my line to start with. So it will be x plus 4 times 0 equals 2, or x equals 2. So what happens is my x-intercept is 2, so I go over 2 on my x-axis, and I'm going to plot my point. Now let's do the y-intercept. And I make x 0 when I do the y-intercept. So when I do the y-intercept, x is 0. So I get 0 plus 4y equals 2. So 4y equals 2. Divide both sides by 4. Y equals 1/2. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to plot the point 1/2 on my y-axis. Now my boundary line is going to be dashed. The reason it's going to be dashed is because it's greater than. If it's greater than or less than, it's a dashed line. If it's greater than or equal to, then it's a solid line, or less than or equal to. So I'm going to draw a dashed line going through these 2 points. Now I'm going to shade half my graph because I know I've got more than one answer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a test point. It doesn't matter which test point you use. Pick a point that's not on your line. I like this point 0, 0. Notice 0, 0 is not on my line. So now I'm going to pick my test point. I'm going to replace x with 0 and y with 0. So notice I get 0 is greater than 2. Is 0 greater than 2? No, it's not. That's false. So I don't shade the side with my test point, and I shade my other side. So I'm going to shade everything that's bigger than my boundary line. And that's our answer. Now let's look at an application problem here. It says one tutoring company advertises that it specializes in helping students who have a combined SAT score, verbal and math score of 900 or less. Okay, 900 or less is the key. So on this one, we're going to write an inequality to describe the combined scores of students who have prospective tutor, and let x represent the verbal and y represent the math. So first thing we're just going to graph that. So I know my total has to be 900, so I'm going to add the 2 up. So x plus y has to be less than or equal to 900, because you could include 900. So notice my x and y intercept are both 900, because if I do my x-intercept, I make y 0. So x equals 900. I'll do the same thing for the y. So I've already put in my numbers here. So notice your x and y counted up to 1,000, counted by 50s. So I'm going to put my x-intercept is 900, my y-intercept is 900, my x-intercept is 900, and then I'm going to connect these, notice, with a solid line because it includes it. Now if I pick my test point here, let me change colors here so you can see the test point. And I like 0, 0 again. So 0 plus 0 less than or equal to 900. Well, 0 is less than or equal to 900. That's true this time. So I'm going to shade the side that has 0, 0 on it. So I'm going to shade below my line. Now notice, one thing I said without saying it is there's some constraints on this that we don't even talk about because it makes sense. That is, you can't have a negative score. You're not going to take the SAT. It's impossible to get a negative score, so that's why I only put the first quadrant on here. But that would be a real life constraint. You have to look at a problem. And let me make this a little bit thicker to get it graphed a little bit quicker. And so we shade that in and we're done. That's example 1. Now, example 2 says, does a student who has a verbal score of 480 and a math score of 410, do they fit the tutoring company's guidelines? Well, let's plot that point. So I'm going to go over 480 on my x-axis. I'm going to go up 410 on my y-axis. So here's 480 and here's 410 about. So I'll plot that point. And notice that's in my shaded region. So yes, it does. And I can do that algebraically. If I add 480 plus 410, notice I get 890, which is less than or equal to 900. So they would qualify for the tutoring. And that's all we're going to do on this affirmation. Now you can work on your assignment.